Okay, let's start with, I'm just going to go through how it appears on my screen. So Dr. Coons, you are up.
Okay, yeah, I guess I'll start things off. I'm Matthew Coons. I'm one of the faculty members. I think I've been here for about 5 years. I've lived in Chicago for probably about 10 years, and I'm originally from Indiana.
Thank you. Dr. Davis, you are next.
That's me. Hello, all. My name is Teresa Davis. I'm one of the ER attendings. I've been at Rush for 10 years, and welcome to all of you. I'm from Chicago originally, if there are Chicago specific questions or diversity questions, that's me too.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Dr. Heinrich, you are next.
Hello, everyone. I'm Scott Heinrich. I'm the Associate Program Director. Been at Rush since 2016. Did all of my training, I guess, in the Chicago area. Dan asked for fun facts, so I will say a fun fact. When I was traveling abroad in Kenya during college, I was chased by a hippo and almost killed, but I survived. And wasn't actually attacked, just ran away. But
wow. That must have been very scary. And yes, thank you for doing the fun fact. The teacher inside of me is really proud of you for following the instructions. Okay, Dr. Hexam, you're next.
Hi, everybody. My name is Braden Hexam. I'm the Residency Program Director. Welcome to Rush. I am originally from Wisconsin. I did my training in New York City, in Manhattan and Queens. And I have been at Rush since 2016 when we started the program. And I'm really excited to talk to you guys today. I don't really have a quick, snappy fun fact other than I got really interested in LGBT health when I was working in Queens as part of our human rights program. We were seeing a lot of asylum seekers who had fled their countries due to their sexual orientation. And so that was actually an area of particular expertise that we developed, and it was just fascinating. So I was really interested to come here and continue some of that work.
Awesome, thank you. Dr. Gore.
Hi, everybody. My name's Kasha Gore. My fun fact probably goes back to my name. My full name's Katarzyna. I was born in Poland. I came to Chicago when I was 7, and I've lived here for most of my life. I have been at Rush since 2015, so I've been around longer than Braden. I mean, I'm pretty awesome. And my other fun fact is I had a bunny in college that I walked on a leash, and his name was Bunny. Because I thought he was a girl initially because he was mislabeled, and then we found out that he was a boy. And so that is my fun fact.
All right, thank you. I think that's all the faculty. So I'll start us off with the residents. So I'm Dan, I'm one of the interns. I'm originally from California. Went to med school in New Jersey at Rutgers Robert Wood Johnson Medical School. My fun fact, I'm gonna shout out to Mike DeGaetano, who's on the call because he has heard me say this over and over again. But I was a teacher for a very long time before med school. I taught high school chemistry and biology. So this is my second career. We'll go next to Hans.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hans. I'm one of the second years. Proud to be at Rush. I'm originally born and raised in Colombia. I've been in the States since I was 12. Army vet, combat medic, airborne medic, all those good stuff, good things. Went to college at UIC, medical school there too. And I'm here, I'm queer, and I'm open to all the questions. So bring it on. Oh, fun fact. Similar to Dr. Heinrich, I was chased by a goose though. And I thought I was gonna die, like legit. No hippo, but my life was at risk.
Thank you, Hans. I'm very glad that the goose did not injure you. Tisma, you're up.
Hello, everybody. You guys are cracking me up with your stories. I've never been chased by a large predator or small predator. But I'm Tisma. I'm one of the PGY3s. That's my partner, Mal. She's over there playing on the guitar a little bit. Interesting fact. I don't know if I can think of one really quickly, but I think I already told Scott and Braden, but I did a lateral canthotomy the other day, and I think that's pretty cool.
That is very cool. All right, Woody, you're next.
Everyone, my name is Woody Parker. I'm one of the EM interns, originally from Kansas City. I went to med school in Philadelphia at Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine, and spent some time in the Navy as a flight surgeon before coming here. And my partner is in Orlando, Florida, trying to get a job here. So more to come, hopefully, question mark, quickly. And my fun fact, when I was in 6th grade, I met Snoop Dogg, and it was awesome.
That is super cool. I'm jealous. All right, I think Dustin, you're next. Ooh, maybe not. I know Dustin's working, so he might. Oh, there you are. Okay, he's occupied. He's occupied. So let's go ahead and get to questions. I know that many of you guys...
We got Robert on there too, right?
Oh, we do? I missed it.
Stuck on the bottom.
Hey everyone, I'm Robert. I'm one of the EM interns. I went to med school in Philly, went to undergrad in Boulder, Colorado. Interesting fact, my first job after college was catching bugs in a forest in Australia. Never was chased by a predator though, I don't think.
All right. Thanks, Robert. Sorry I missed you. I must have the wrong view.
No, it's okay. I snuck in late. Was that all the prompts?
Yeah, no, I mean you got them all, even though you're late. Dustin, are you good to go? Okay.
Yeah, hey, sorry, I'm at work. So I'm Dustin. I'm from Arkansas originally, went to the University of Arkansas for Medical Sciences. And then a fun fact.
Yes.
In high school, I showed and judged livestock and was on a state-winning livestock team.
Nice. Okay, so some of you elected to submit questions on your registration form. So I think we're gonna proceed to those, and while we have our program leadership with us, they can take those questions and hopefully get you some answers. So the first question, you guys are discussing what are predators and what are not. The first question is, are LGBTQ trainees expected to lead training in LGBTQ healthcare for other residents, or do the faculty lead, or is there a combo of that? So I'll let the program leadership answer that one.
Wow, opening up with the big one. Are they expected to lead? I don't think that that's, a role that we would, impose on anybody. We do this because we think it's important to, meet with you and talk with you and self-educate our own program and our own leadership about these issues. So many of the kind of trainings and things that all of our residents go through, they're organized through not just the departmental leadership, but the institutional leadership. People who want to be involved, whether they are LGBT, or allies, or are part of our leadership, are welcome to be part of it. But I don't think that that's ever been anything that we would inflict on other people to have to step up and be, leaders in that regard. So I'm happy to have you involved as a leader if that's what you want to do. If you don't, we respect that.
I'll echo what Dr. Hackham said and kind of actually give a couple examples. I agree. I would never make that an expectation. I think that is always a choice. If you'd like to, there's anything you want to do, we're very open in terms of the conference curriculum. That's actually kind of my role as the conference curriculum. If there's something you want to give a talk or give a discussion on, we would certainly, help you and facilitate that, but it's certainly not an expectation. Actually, in conference last week, we had two of our experts from the Rush Affirm program in transgender health actually came, and we had an hour-long session last week in conference. We also have one of our nurses who, again, going with something you want to be involved with, actually as part of our dire curriculum. It's kind of given, giving an hour-long kind of discussion on LGBTQ kind of history and health. So again, these are things that some of the stuff we put into conference, like the Affirm thing, some of the other things are kind of part of our dire curriculum and that we're kind of done based on people's choices. But it's certainly not an expectation that you would have to do.
Speaking of Affirm and dire, oh, sorry, Dr. Coons, but speaking of Affirm and dire, Dr. Heinrich, can you explain what those are for the group?
Sure. So the dire program is something we started a year and a half ago, I think. Is that right? So I hear you talking, Braden, but I can't see it.
Yeah, 2020. It was yeah, last year.
So it's diversity, inclusion, and equity, and it's a program we started that's kind of a longitudinal program covering obviously different parts of diversity in healthcare. And so we've kind of gone over racial diversity this year, kind of more as a focus on LGBTQ health. And so Dr. Desanganikar kind of helps run it with kind of involvement throughout the residency. And so as part of that, there's kind of concurrent kind of online modules, and then there's also part that go through kind of the curriculum throughout the year. So there's videos, there's books, there's book clubs, and there's actually stuff during conference as well. And then the Affirm program is part of a greater Rush hospital-wide initiative, where it kind of helps staff clinics and really affirmation in gender health and transgender health. And so we have experts on campus, and we have actually, like, I teach in the med school as well, and that's actually part of the med school curriculum, and it comes throughout the residency curriculum as well if it's something you want to include, and we obviously chose to do that.
Awesome. Okay, Dr. Coons, were you going to say something?
I was going to say that I would just look at it as an opportunity. So if LGBT medicine is something that you're really interested and passionate about, and you want to have the opportunity to be able to teach that to your fellow residents and attendings and med students, there's certainly the opportunity to do that at this program. But if your interests and passions lie somewhere else and you want to concentrate on that, that's totally great too. We're happy to facilitate that as well.
Yes, great. Okay, the next question, this is just kind of more broad for Rush as an institution, but how does the program or GME or the hospital show support for LGBTQ plus individuals? That was kind of already addressed in the last question, but again, I'll direct this to program leadership and or faculty that want to answer.
I mean, I think Rush in general is extremely positive and it really has geared the institutional efforts to not just provide adequate care, but provide excellent and really superior care when it comes to patients that are transgender, et cetera. And so I think we all have gotten a lot of education on this as providers just throughout Rush. And it's something that's really well felt throughout the whole institution. There's, lots of times where there's pins and celebrations that are going on to kind of promote this kind of stuff. And so I think it's overall institutionally, I think it's really well felt that this is something that the institution really wants to provide just really great care. And I don't know if anyone wants to add to that, but that's at least the feeling that I get.
I would like to add to that. So part of the previous question was, what was the Affirm program that we have at Rush? And Affirm is sort of the affirming services for LGBTQ plus members, patients, whatever it is they need. There's this group of individuals that make sure that you have your needs taken care of and if you require someone that is also LGBT or whatnot, they can refer you to those providers that are more amenable to LGBT and all that. So that is something very specific that Rush has, something that I've used myself. So and that is a huge part of what Rush does to promote and maintain their LGBTQ plus employees as well.
I just put the Affirm kind of website information in the chat if anyone was interested in seeing that.
So the question had to do with, kind of resident support. And we've been talking about kind of the mission of the institution as a whole, and, how do we support patients in this? And I find it really interesting that as a mission, Rush, has always been out front on kind of the providing good, high quality care. And so we, as an institution, recruit faculty, residents, students. This isn't going to be a place where you're going to be one of, a handful of people. It's not just residents. It's supporting all of our employees. And I think that that's why we get recognized as a leader in healthcare equity, because of the way in which we kind of support everyone. There are resident programs, and there will be kind of support groups and ways within GME that you can feel like the leadership is looking out for you. But I kind of look at it as an umbrella, that this isn't just for residents, but for our faculty, for our students, for our employees. And that goes down to, are we actually providing good care to our patients? And I kind of feel it in all of those missions, which was one of the things that I was really proud of when I came to Rush. I wanted to look for that. I've never been able to confirm this, but when I was interviewing here for my faculty job, they were talking about how Rush has been providing, same-sex benefits since the 70s, before institutions really understood or were doing that kind of thing. I don't know if it actually went back that far, but, this is something that is kind of perpetuated through the, vision and mission of Rush, and it's been there for a long time.
Yeah, kind of going off what Braden said, I feel like it's one thing I really like is that it's not just like mission statements. Like there's a lot of visibility, and as like a trainee, there's a lot of visibility in terms of like faculty and people teaching me. It's not just like the institution says they support it, but there's actually people that are training me like everywhere that that I can identify with as like a gay trainee. So it's not just words,
I totally agree with what Robert just said, because when I was on the interview trail, I asked, like I can't turn on the television without there being some kind of social injustice or questions about otherness, and what's the institution doing to address that. And I had a really great interview with a program that was in Georgia, and their answer was like, oh yeah, I think somebody has that title. Somebody is a diversity, somebody or other, but there was nothing that was like in practice. And I felt from the very start that Rush wasn't just talking about in kind of tangential ideology, that there was actually some action on the deck plates. And there are, I think, well, Scott held up his t-shirt earlier, right? Like in the emergency department, there are probably half a dozen people who are wearing that t-shirt every day. And that there is visibility and support everywhere, which is really nice and very comforting.
Yeah, I totally agree. Just one little anecdote that, I where I went to med school, I would say that there were a fair number of people who were afraid to talk about themselves in such an open way. Like I regularly talk to all the faculty that I work with here at Rush about my boyfriend and about where we live and what we do and what he does for work. And it just rolls off the tongue as if it's not even like a different thing. And there were several people who elected not to do that where I went to med school. And it was very saddening to me personally, but just kind of speaking anecdotally about my experience here at Rush is that this is not a thing that you need to censor or even think twice about sharing about yourself. So just again, to Robert's point about how it's everybody that we work with, everybody that we train with, this is like our language.
I think this goes back to that first question about kind of the diversity tax, and what are we going to ask you to do if you come here? You can come here and be a leader in this field if you want. You can also just come here and be a resident and, learn how to be a great emergency physician. If you don't want to, be out front on this, that's fine. We have plenty of people who are taking leadership roles in this, and educate each other and are involved in, moving this forward, and so you can choose to what degree your identity is, built around, who you are as a physician. You don't have to be pushed into leadership roles because you are, in this group. You can also just come to work.
All right, awesome. So the next question I have is actually very similar to the one we just answered. So I'll put it out there if anyone has anything else additional to add, specifically like to hear from a little bit more of the residents, see kind of their perspectives. But this one is, can you describe the degree of mentorship that is available to LGBTQ plus residents? Also, how welcoming is the overall environment of the department? That's the part that I think has already been answered to a certain degree, but again, any more experiences, be willing to share. But if any of the program leadership or the faculty can speak to specific mentorship opportunities for LGBTQ plus residents, that would be great.
I can say that everybody is paired with a faculty mentor, and I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I was paired with Dr. Coons, who's also on this call. But I think apart from him apart from the two of us going out to Boys Town once, I don't think we've done anything like super gay together, but I think that that's a good starting point for that. And then I also wanted to comment and plug that we really are we not only like at work try to create a welcoming environment for the folks in the LGBT community, but also like we had like a social event at the beginning of the academic year. So we had not only most of us that identify within that community come to like a house party, but most of just the supportive faculty and a handful of other people came. So it was a really good time, and I think hopefully that it was welcoming also in creating that environment that you guys are asking about.
There was a magic show involved, which was excellent.
Robert was the star of it. Actually, about this going out to Boys Town with your mentor, is that available to residents that are not mentees of said faculty member?
That's true, but Tisma and I will charge you a fee for any additional joiners on.
Okay, I'd pay it. I don't care what the price is.
And just to speak to mentorship in general, I guess I would just say, as Tisma was saying, you get paired with a mentor to begin with, just so that you have that initial someone to support you. And I think also the senior residents, correct me if I'm wrong, get paired as well. So you do from the gate at least have people that you can talk to just starting out. That being said, if you gravitate towards someone who is not assigned to you, that's fine. That happens all the time, especially by the time you get to third year, whether it's from a more personal life perspective or from a career perspective, as far as, if you discover you're more interested in ultrasound and you weren't paired with someone who was an ultrasound person. So it's not that you have to, again, we are very flexible in whatever it is and whoever it is that you feel you need to succeed, basically.
Yeah, the assigning of mentorship, actually starts before you even get here. Scott actually goes through our faculty and our new class and starts to look at, who do we think is going to potentially hit it off with a faculty member in our group. We've got about 45 faculty. It's very diverse. We are about 50% women. We're about 50% non-Christian. We have African-American faculty, we have gay faculty. We probably need to be working better at recruiting Hispanic faculty. And, so there's areas of improvement we could work on, but we want to try and find somebody that you're going to identify with. And that might be your identity, that might be what you're interested in, that might be just who we think you will work with from a personality perspective based on what we know. And that doesn't always work out. We allow you to switch that up partway through the program so that we find you the right mentor who's going to be able to get you what you need professionally. So that's one kind of aspect of mentorship, is that professional mentorship of what do you want to do with your career and how can we get you there? But also personal mentorship, and somebody that you are going to be able to reach out to if you have something terrible happen, or if you are really in a dark place and you just need to talk with a faculty member, really honestly about what's going on in your life. Residency is hard. Life doesn't stop for 3 years because you come here. And we want to make sure that you are supported, not just from a leadership perspective, but from an individual faculty member who's going to be kind of paired with you during that time.
Okay, we've got one more question while the program leadership and faculty are still on. Before I do that, I noticed that the other Dr. Gore, Gore, as it were, is on the call. Dr. Gore, do you want to identify yourself? No?
Hold
Okay.
on. No, he's around. He's just making sure that our children are doing okay.
Okay.
Are you on the call?
Kind of, peripherally, but I'm watching the kids.
Do you want to say hi?
Oh, am I live?
Yes.
Oh, sorry guys. Hey, I'm Ryan Gore. I'm Kasha Gore's husband. I didn't realize I was unmuted and on video. Thanks for that setup. I'm in charge of watching the kids while she tries to actually be part of the meeting, but I'm listening peripherally. Everybody.
Who are you? Tell us who you are.
Say hi.
Okay. He's one of our faculty, as I'm sure you would have deduced. All right, so that last question is, what are some current projects regarding health equity / LGBTQ equity that are now being done at Rush?
From a department perspective, again, we talk about the DIRE curriculum a lot. I can go back a little as far as that goes, since Dr. Desanayake isn't here on this call today, but she is extremely involved in a lot of the things. But as are basically all the other faculty on this call, I think we're involved. So to go back a little bit, is diversity inclusion residency education is something that has been specific to the residency, but honestly, that has also been utilized and expanded to the department for some subject matter. So the last one we had actually was about improving how we interact with our LGBTQ plus community as far as from a medical perspective. And that was done by Kirk, who is one of our nurses. So that's what we have done most recently from a DIRE perspective.
In Rush kind of generally has just built or funded an Institute for Health Equity. So we actually have now leadership that are funded for this. It was a pretty large donation from, I don't remember who, does anybody remember? But it was, so there will be kind of new projects and additional kind of staff being hired. One of our faculty, Dale Davenport, is in a vice dean position that specifically to help recruit underrepresented in medicine applicants, both to medical school, mostly to the medical school, but also peripherally with some GME activities. We just hired a new chair, so thanks, Woody, for reminding me of that. So our new chair is Ted Corbin, who's going to be coming to us from Drexel. He has been working in Philadelphia for many years as a African-American leader in emergency medicine, working on youth violence, and that has been most of his academic career. So I'm really excited to see what kind of a new chair will bring to our department in terms of kind of social emergency medicine projects and a kind of new focus on that for our department. So I actually think it's going to be a very exciting time to see what happens in the next couple of years here.
And also just a lot of us also are teaching somewhat on the medical college level, Kasha and Ryan and Scott. And they do, and Matt, like half of us on here. But they basically also do a lot of teaching as far as improving the way that we interact with our LGBTQ plus community as well. And they do specific sessions. So, you know, even from a medical college level, they start early trying to get the word out about how to better interact and basically be better physicians to our patients.
And I really like the question about Epic, and Epic is one of the ways that we can provide better care in that everyone is aware of the preferred name, the pronouns, and there's a lot of actual options in Epic that we're, you know, again, just re-educated on as to how to re-enter things. And so it's very easy to help facilitate better care with the use of that system.
Yeah, just to kind of give some background to that, Epic is our electronic medical management system, and we received a training, like a discussion about it at our weekly conference last week about this feature in Epic that allows you to use someone's preferred name. Obviously, for medical billing purposes, you need their legal name, which is oftentimes different than what they want to be called. And so you can have their preferred name, which is the one that appears highlighted for you when you're actually looking at their chart, preparing to go see them, or when you're entering their note. Dr. Heinrich was referencing a patient that he and I recently had, where this individual was presenting with a medical issue that if you looked at their presenting gender, you would not have assumed that this was a problem that they could present with. And in Epic, it was very clear what their medical problem was, as well as what their preferred name and what their preferred gender pronouns were, so that we could better obviously serve them. So yeah.
And Rush, the Epic even has, Dan and I were actually looking at this yesterday, and this patient actually even has, when you hover over it, it has everything Dan talked about: legal name, preferred name, pronouns. It actually has organ inventory you can actually use as well, as one of the options on the Epic. We have like, we're like a super user site, so we always get like whatever the newest rollout is. So we have like super Epic.
Yeah, that was actually what I was going to bring up. It was actually fascinating, that training that we did this week, because we got to hear a little bit about, you know, how did we actually do some of these things and they didn't work out, right? The IT behind kind of building not just pronouns, but like, you know, organ inventories, and kind of how do we go through this, and to what degree is that information accessible to various users within the Epic system. You know, and so they actually were very honest about, look, they made a couple of mistakes in the way that they actually built some of the IT. And it was really helpful to learn how that was actually implemented and roll it back and get it corrected. And they've been working with, you know, Epic Maine up in Wisconsin to really do this. And so we are an innovative site, which means, you know, hey, we occasionally get it wrong, but we want to make sure that we continue to improve upon it so that it's, you know, as comprehensive as we can make it.
All right. Does any program leadership or faculty have any further comments?
Just thank you all for participating. This is really cool. This is a great turnout.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you all for being here today. You know, we did a bunch of these webinars last year for our kind of first go around of virtual interviews. Now we kind of feel like we've done this a bit. We know how to do this and really get you to understand the feel of our program and whether this is the right fit for you. We only did so far, at least, we've only scheduled 3 webinars, and this was one of them. We felt very, the residents actually were very, very upfront, saying, look, let's dive deep in this, you know, and really make sure that we're out there. And I welcome you all to apply to us in just a couple of days now. And, you know, for those of you who end up watching this later on, you know, please reach out, and we'd love to have you guys be interested in coming to Rush next year. Good luck.
I just want to say thank you to all of our amazing residents who are on this call for putting this together and showing up and showing everyone who Rush is. And you really wouldn't get to know us without getting to know our residents, and they're pretty darn awesome.
I know Eris opens up in 2 days. Relax, everybody. You guys are all going to be great. You're all going to make it through. Take a deep breath and as much as you can, which I know is hard, enjoy the process. And you're all going to be great emergency physicians. And now we're getting kicked out, right?
I guess, yeah. Okay, so that's the last comment. Are you making that? You got the last word, Dr. Henrik?
Nice.
Okay, so yeah, so thank you, faculty, for coming. And then applicants, you can stay on. I am going to stop the recording.